News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Well, the New York Post reports that a traveler flying out of a Maryland airport packed a missile launcher from Kuwait in his checked bag in the hopes of keeping it as a souvenir. TSA agents at Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport spotted this inert missile launcher in a Jacksonville, Texas man's checked bag early Monday.
You should declare that.
Yeah, you should let him know.
Texas.
Police questioned the traveler, who explained he's an active duty military member and allowed him to catch his connecting flight. The missile launcher, though, was confiscated. You didn't get to hold on to that.
Just do a version of, remember they used to do it with the water? They'd go, take a sip out of it, and then you can have it. Take the missile launcher, pump it once, fire it in the air. If nothing happens, then you can take it.
It's yours.
It's full of blanks.
I had 2 bottled waters. I was embarrassed that I have this bad habit, which is if I do a comedy club on a Saturday night, I'll throw a couple of bottles of water in my backpack to head back to drink in the room. The following morning, we get up at 6 in the morning and we stagger out of the place, and I forget about these bottles, and I had it pulled out at the airport. I'm always embarrassed that they pull you out and they whatever. They just take the bottled water and they throw it in the hopper right by their feet, and then they get on with their life.
Piled up with any number of other liquids.
If it's liquid nitroglycerin, then you're sitting on top of it.
I never thought of that. That's funny.
What's the difference? Take it out and bury it in the back or something. It's funny. Like I said to the guy, it's unopened. Just take it home. He's like, I can't do that. Mike August turned to me and he went, if I fucking worked here, I'd have so much shit.
Oh, my God. He'd be a king.
Stuff home every day.
Yeah. Of course he did.
The embarrassment of riches.
He'd open his own pocket knife store.
Just a wall full of mismatched water bottles.
Yes.
Avion and Fiji.
Right.
So the New York Post also reports that the body of John Dillinger, of course, the infamous bank robber who twice escaped from jail, will be exhumed from an Indianapolis grave, and nobody knows why. The Indiana State Department of Health approved a permit on July 3rd for the 1930s gangster's nephew to dig up the remains out of this massive concrete tomb that apparently his dad put him in to help sort of dissuade grave robbers. They have to put him back the same day. The permit does not indicate the reason. The cemetery won't say. The family declined to comment.
He's so riddled full of bullet holes by G-men, right? That's how he died.
He was fatally gunned down in 1934 when he was fleeing the police.
His car was famously on display all the time. Cars that have been shot. It's kind of weird how cars... Like Elvis has a Pantera that he shot, more valuable. Dillinger's car. Yeah. Cars have been shot.
John Dillinger and...
more popular.
Bonnie and Clyde, their car was always in display in Vegas.
In the movie, a G-Man just walked up behind him after he came out of a film or something and just blew his brains out.
Oh, is that in the movie?
The movie, directed by Michael Mann, who also did Heat, which Danny Trejo is in, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome
Can I ask Danny about a scene in Heat?
Sure.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking Bonnie and Clyde then when they were
they were gunned down in the
riddled
car.
full of car bullets. But sorry, you're right. He went to a movie theater.
Yes.
That's right. He was caught in a theater.
Can I ask you a question, Danny? You
Sure.
may or may not remember this. It was so long ago, but it's one of my favorite movies, and your final scene is one of my favorite death scenes in the movie. It's where Michael Mann's best as a writer and director, because he has this minor character, Danny Trejo, who has a death that occur. He has a death, and it's the economy of scenes and words, because you don't know a lot about this guy, but you know the scene is so well written, where like you're asking about your wife and she's dead in the other room. Can you tell me what you remember about that scene? I always wondered if they used prosthetics, because your head had been basically bashed in by people who wanted information.
The makeup was for about an hour.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Robert De Niro asked me, how do you want to do this, Trejo? And my name was actually Trejo in the movie, Gilbert Trejo.
That's right.
And he did that as an homage. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep.
Homage to my uncle, who he did a movie in Folsom.
Oh, shit.
And he was friends with my uncle.
Michael Mann.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
My uncle was in Folsom. And so my name was Gilbert Trejo after him. And De Niro said, how do you want to do this, Trejo? And I said, I don't know. What do you think, Robert? And he says, I think you're already dead. I think you just have enough breath to ask me to kill you. And for a split second, I would say, nah, that's not the way I feel. At first, and then that's exactly how I see it, Robert. You know, well, come on. You know? And
it's a great scene.
Yeah,
it's intense, it's sad,
awesome.
but it's...
De Niro, I mean, come on. It's like, God, it's like just... I don't know how to say it, man. It's like looking like Marilyn Monroe, slow, you know, it's unreal. He's the best.
The movie needs to pop up on cable a little more often.
You want to borrow my DVD at any time?
I just like it. It doesn't. It should make the rounds more often for such a good movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
it's like that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, so maybe we'll find out what they're doing with John Dillinger and when they're going to put him back.
No Con Air, but keep going.
Well, speaking of planes, a Delta pilot was taken off a fully boarded plane on Tuesday at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport and arrested on suspicion of being under the influence of alcohol. The pilot is 37, Gabriel Lyle Schroeder, was arrested around 11 in the morning after an investigation. So before getting on the plane, before getting on the plane, Schroeder was seen leaving a TSA screening line when a few crew members noticed he was getting some additional screening, which always kind of like freaks people out and don't know why a pilot's getting pulled out of line. Authorities found a container of alcohol in his possession once he was taken into custody. They're waiting for the
evidence, man.
Yeah, waiting for those toxicology reports, but I think we know they're going to come back.
You know what? I think pilots should just have that thing. They got to blow in before they get on the plane.
They can start the plane.
Right.
Yeah, they can crank it over.
That's right. It was
Flight would have been a short movie.
Yeah.
Pilots, as a rule, Dr. Drew always tells me, like the warriors and the thrill seekers and the daredevils, they're alcoholics throughout history. That's how it works. Guys who want to fly, especially guys from the military that think it'd be a good idea to be a pilot, are more prone to be alcoholics. It's just a higher percentage in that group. So I would say, in general, to the population, sadly, pilots probably are higher group of traditionally would have few pops and blah, 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 blah. Once you introduce autopilot and you got a flight to like Singapore, you're asking that person to
Kick
drink.
back.
I couldn't sit in that chair for 13 hours without having a pop.
Nor should you.
The plane was flying itself.
Yeah, at this point, can we just tell ourselves that? They're flying themselves.
My whole thing is, like, as long as my co-pilot's Mormon, I'm good to go.
Back in the day, how many pilots, what percentage of pilots think had a cocktail on the job just as rote?
The captain's lounge.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
I bet it was ordered when the
drunk.
stewardess came in and said, "You guys want a coffee or whatever?" I bet there were some Bloody Marys going around.
Irish up that coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, new study estimates more than 1 in 10 older Americans do binge drink, according to CBS News.
Woo!
This is an increase from the previous decade. Study out just the other day from the Journal of American Geriatric Society determined binge drinkers 65 and older, mostly men, also like a little weed and a little
65
cigarette.
and older?
Yeah. On the side. Binge drinking defined as 5 or more drinks at a time for men, 4 or more for women.
Let's drink some beers and rape!
One of the findings of the study is that an estimated 70% of all hospitalized older people and 50% of nursing home residents have alcohol-related problems.
Nursing home residents. So there's
A lot of
drinking.
alcohol in prison, too.
Apparently.
Is there?
Bruno.
Yeah,
Did you ever get any alcohol? Oh, you don't drink alcohol, right?
Bruno. I did in prison.
You did?
Yeah.
Would they make it in the
it,
toilet?
Yeah, you make it anywhere. You know what
Like
I mean?
fruit cocktail from the
We used to
kitchen?
have people in the kitchen make it because there they got heat and yeast and everything. So had some pretty good booze.
How'd it taste?
Well, if you drink Pruno, you're an alcoholic. It's that simple. You know, it's like it's not the best tasting in the world, no matter what you do, but it does the job.
You would have someone. How would they make it in the kitchen?
You want potatoes, carrots, how you want to taste apples, and water, yeast, sugar, and that's it.
Ferment it.
You
Cook it up, ferment it.
Yeah.
Would-
you can do that out here.
Would the guards know? What did the guards know?
Depending, you know what I mean? Depending how much you, depending on whether they liked you or not, or how much you paid them, or because you got to remember, man, it's like if I'm got a good business going and it's Christmas and your kid wants that powered motorcycle and I offered you some money, it's like hell.
They'll take
I'll
it.
look the other way.
Is there? I once was talking to a prison guard and I said, I don't know about these conjugal visits. I don't like them. I don't like that Tex Watson has a bunch of kids from inside the joint. And the guy said, well, it keeps them mellow. Like, we got to deal with these guys all day. And when they know they got a conjugal visit coming up, it keeps them running good. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's an argument I understand. I don't like the part where Tex Manson family members are having kids from inside the joint, but I get the argument that it's keeping them even and it's keeping you safer as the guard and so on and so forth. And I wonder how much of that's involved with like Pruno, where like they're like, look, this guy likes it, it mellows him out. I don't want to get a toothbrush that's been sharpened in my ribs, so let him have his Pruno.
Alcohol is like throwing gas on a fire. That's all it is. I mean, it's booze. And, I went to the whole Cinco de Mayo, 1968, involved in a prison riot because we had a lot of Pruno.
Oh, really?
Well, that's what everybody thinks Cinco de Mayo means, 5th of May. But if you're a real Mexican, it actually means get bail money, because you're going to jail, and that's what happened. Everybody got drunk and we went to jail.
Did not know that. I thought it was Cinco. Yeah, I thought it was the 5th of May.
Spanish for 5th of May.
What? How do you, as far as a prison riot goes, how do you know who to punch?
It's usually like segregated. I mean, it's
punch a white guy or a black guy.
Well,
find a Jew.
Like
good luck.
Most of the time, Mexican and white kind of run together there in prison. It's like
it's nice.
The AB and the.
So you punch a black guy but not a white guy. I just want to know in case the shit goes down.
It's basically simply because it's like you have more dealings. You have more dealing with the white guys.
Right.
I have to say that the African American are probably the most prejudiced there is in prison. You know what I mean? It's like everybody else just kind of wants to like get along, but when you bring hate from the streets into prison, it's there. So that's there.
So when there's a prison riot and you don't really know what's going on other than we're rioting, you just go find somebody who looks different than you and punch them.
Well, you don't punch people.
Stab them?
Yeah. I think that's the.
Oh, stab.
You got to remember, it's a lot easier in prison to get away with a stabbing than it is a fight. Wow. If I sock you, more than likely, unless you're going to run, you're going to sock me back, and then we're going to get in a fight.
Right.
But if I come up behind you, hit you 3 times, and walk away,
nobody knows.
I'm not going to get caught. I'm going to be gone before you fall.
What do you make a shank? Is it
Anything.
A shank or a shiv?
Anything.
You can shiv someone with a shank.
You shiv someone with a shank? What's the verb? Anything, but what's like most common? Toothbrush?
Well, yeah, you get a piece of plastic, like a sharpened toothbrush. They're plastic. That's why they're taking all the plastic, everything out. I think prison is the first one to start going green. They're taking all the plastic out.
No straws.
Welcome, turtles.
You melt three plastic toothbrushes together. You got a hell of a sharp piece of plastic.
Did you?
That means I can't say hell.
No.
Did you go to?
That's your
did you go
plastic.
to like when you were in prison? Did you do like a shop class or continuation school, or was there any kind of educational?
Yeah. Well, there used to be. I mean, but they had different college courses. But people started on the streets. People started complaining that guys were going to prison, getting their what's the first one you get?
Their diploma, their degree.
Yeah, the diploma.
Free ride at Folsom.
See, that's why do you say that? That's not good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Free ride. You're in prison. That's not a free ride.
I'm making the voice of the person on the street. That's not me.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You have said that before, though.
That's what it is. It's like this guy's in prison. Wait, let me try to better myself.
Yeah.
Well, do you want him back in prison, or do you want a functional member of society?
Right, exactly. So they took a lot of that out of school. My uncle, when he was in prison, he got his BA.
Associate's degree?
His but the
Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, Bachelor of Arts.
Bachelor of Arts degree, yeah, in psychology. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And couldn't get a job,
Gilbert. Are we talking about Gilbert?
My Uncle Gilbert, yeah.
We couldn't get a job because of the history?
The history, yeah, the history. Just, it's like, what are you going to... Because that was before kind of like drug abuse started using ex-convicts and ex-addicts. When psychiatrists finally got the sense that, wait a minute, we can't touch this guy because he honestly feels, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't because I haven't used those drugs.
Where are you with Kim Kardashian? Hero, poser, what do we think?
I don't care. I don't even do what you got to do. I think.
But are you a fan?
Of who? Of Kim? I didn't know her until she just.
But do we like what she's doing?
I like what anybody's doing that's trying to help. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. You know what? It's like the guys, my friends, all my friends, they got socks and they got thermal underwear in their trunk because they hand it to the homeless. And we've actually had people, don't do that. You're helping them. What? They're homeless.
Yeah.
You know, and we're giving them socks and thermal underwear. And everybody that I know keeps help in their heart. Like, that's what we do. I sound like a do-gooder.
No. I like your passion. I'm sorry you mistook me.
You keep saying that. I don't know if that's like a compliment. That's a compliment, right?
It's good, unless it takes a turn for the sexual.
Okay, that's what I meant. You know?
Well, the day is young. All right, let's do one more.
Oh, good. I was hoping we'd get to this. Actor and musician Donald Glover is a fan of Garth Brooks, or at least a fan of Garth's alter ego, Chris Gaines, which tends to come up on this show from time to time.
That makes one person.
Very
that makes one black person.
Huge in Pacoima.
ABC News Radio reports that during a stop at an Australian radio station, Donald transformed into his Grammy-winning musical alter ego, Childish Gambino, and then performed a Chris Gaines song.
Donald Glover's a hot African-American actor, comedian, rapper.
That's Danny Glover.
That's the other one.
That's a different one.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Donald Glover's a little younger.
And did you know, because Brian, I know you're
like
up
Danny
and up on your
Glover.
Chris Gaines history. Me too. Did you know that Chris Gaines was supposed to be an Australian rock star?
That was the original.
That was part of his story?
I did know that was the original backstory. Garth Brooks hosted SNL, and Chris Gaines was the musical act. He really pushed the Chris Gaines angle in like '99 or whatever it was.
Well, he recorded the whole album as Chris Gaines, but during a radio appearance, Childish Gambino performed the album's lead single, "Lost in You." Here's a clip of
Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover as
Donald Glover's alter
Chris
ego.
Gaines. But the song actually works, and I have the original in case you're wondering how close he did.
Heaven knows, head over heels, and it shows. I've played every field, I suppose, but there's something about you when you're around, baby. I have.
What's he wearing?
I get lost in you.
Bathrobe
A
sweater?
long sweater set.
I
dress.
feel like, do we find Wednesday night as cruising night in Van Nuys?
Absolutely. I like Danny
It was
Glover.
a Dr.
better.
Demento song. Now, this is all good, but I feel if you put that group of background singers and that organist to Mary Had a Little Lamb,
It sounds
be
great.
killer.
or the Hokey Pokey, it would just work.
Yeah,
like if you
be
put him
awesome.
there, you could pick any song you wanted, do that arrangement, put them behind it,
Yeah.
put the organist in there, it would all work, right?
Cokie.
Or the Kokey.
Yeah,
it's called.
do that.
It would work.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Where is that song? I wonder.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
Cokie.
It was Wednesday night is cruising night in Van Nuys.
That's time for oldies.
It was a Dr. Demento song, and I don't know. There's so many of them over the years that maybe
Angel
didn't get
baby, my angel baby. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes falsetto.
Oh, yeah.
He's a cruiser. Adam Carolla is a cruiser.
Oh, yeah. It went super high.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I remember, let's see. What's a good cruise group? I'm going to say...
All of them. Richie Valens. Oh, Donna. Wow.
He died at like 16.
17, yeah.
Very, very young.
Yeah.
La,
Oh,
la,
no, not my Richie. All of them.
I never met a girl like you in my life. That was, oh God, what's the band I'm trying to think of? Shit. What's a street you get
I'm
off on
a traveling man.
Sorry.
Whoa!
Yeah, there's Ricky Nelson, and this is Smokey.
Okay.
Smokey.
Yeah, I was thinking about Is it Tavares? What's the band I'm trying to think of? And then there was La Tierra.
Right now,
there's your band.
I started a record label called Trejo's Music, and we've got like Trish Toledo and Tara New and Baby Bash, and that's like a cruising. Look it up. It's called Chicano Soul Shop Volume 1, and it's done kind of like a DJ. Hey, this is DannyTrejo. We've got blah blah, and Frankie J and Baby Bash, and it's like it's a lot of fun. And then we did that just to like help some new artists, and it just turned into a record label.
What's La Tierra's hit?
By the airport.
Yeah, they got a hit. I know what it is.
Next song we're getting into is Fly Away by Baby Bash. Hey! Yeah. Right here on the one and only Chicano Soul Shop, brought to you by Trejo's Music. Wow! Adam Carolla, I love you.
That's Brian.
I can get down with this.
Thank you, Brian.
You hit the post, too.
If you're going to drive Mulholland, don't play this. But if you're going Van Nuys,
turn it up.
keep it regional, then play
this. This is about Low and Slow.
I can get down with this.
My 65 Buick Riviera.
Oh, Together is the Tierra song. You guys all know it. All right, let me hit the...
That was awesome.
Were
Thank
you done,
you.
Gina? Was that
We
it?
can bring it home. Hold on. Brian needs a sec. Brian's been very busy. The console's on fire.
Okay. Hey, Adam, you're cool. You just really... You just like, hey,
That's all
I might
Brian.
put a mural of you in Pacoima.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll last.
I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I like your eyes.
That was the
Gina.
news with Gina Grad.